All right, let's talk some off-season files. We got to get into the Atlanta Falcons. They are a pretty bad team.
They're not good.
They've got a quarterback who's making a lot of money.
$41 million.
Yep, it's toward the end of his deal.
If that's not the grossest thing you hear today, I don't know what will be.
$41 million.
Matt Ryan is making $41 million.
He does still have Julio Jones. Still have Calvin Ridley. Yeah, and other than that, the defense is still bad, and there's a lot of work to do. So where do they start?
The question for me is, do they take a quarterback? And I think the answer is yes. And I thought it was Justin Fields the whole time. Mm-hmm. You know, Mel Kiper had them trading up with the Jets in his last mock draft. I don't necessarily buy that. I don't know that they're going to trade up. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing. Zach Wilson's the most ready to start right now. In Atlanta, that doesn't matter.
Right.
You're stuck with Matt Ryan for at least a year, possibly two years. So they could take Trey Lance. That wouldn't shock me. And Trey Lance is, I'll be honest with you, Tank and Brian got to see me do my scouting thing yesterday. Watching Trey Lance, I'm telling you right now, that is, he should be the quarterback on the 6 to midnight team. Now, lovingly referred to as the Chase Claypool team.
Who was it before?
What do you mean?
Did you have a quarterback on that team?
I did.
Was it Zach Wilson?
It was Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was before everybody started talking about him going 2.
Right. When he was still considered to be maybe a top 10 pick.
You know what? I am officially doing it. I'm taking out Zach Wilson, putting in Trey Lance.
There you go.
Only because the hype on Zach Wilson's gotten stupid.
Mm-hmm. And Jeremy yesterday watching that footage was just so insufferable with his, look at the mechanics, and, you want to talk about a flick? That's a flick. He said that a lot.
Watching Trey Lance, it's easy to figure out why teams fall in love.
Well, of course. I mean, you've got a 6'4", 225 quarterback who
and watching him run over safeties that doesn't suck at all.
Exactly.
Either.
I mean, he run at the FCS level. He was running like beast mode out of the backfield. You know, running over safeties and pushing piles and all of that. My question is always, can he do it at the next level?
There's a huge jump in competition, but I think he would fit in nicely in Atlanta. I think he would. Arthur Smith with Trey Lance that's exciting kind of shit right there. Mm-hmm. And that's in my next mock draft. They will be taking Trey Lance at 4. That's the team that I'm locked into it now. They have so much time to develop a quarterback. He would have so much time to sit and watch Matt Ryan, who, at the end of the day, Matt Ryan's biggest problem is his physical limitations. Mm-hmm. Between the ears, he's a phenomenal quarterback. He just has physical limitations that have kept, he won an MVP, but it's kept him from being that Hall of Fame level, top 20 of all-time quarterback that he could have been.
Right.
The Falcons they're in cap hell. $20 million over the cap, and you're the 4th worst team in the NFL. That's not good. This could be an ugly year for Atlanta. I think they're going to get the balance sheets right this year. If they physically could get rid of Matt Ryan, I think they would. Mm-hmm. But they can't. The cap hits too much. It would be crushing. You're overpaying Julio Jones at this point. Mm-hmm. My biggest question is, do they bring back Keanu Neal? And I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, probably. They're probably pigeonholed into having to bring him back. He's a weird guy because he's got the injury issues. He's had 2 season-ending injuries in the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. It sucks, but when he's on the field, he might be your best option because he's really good. I just wouldn't want to spend a whole lot of money on him. And I don't know that other teams are going to want to either. So I think Atlanta might catch a break in the salary department with old Keanu Neal. But that's
the thing about Keanu Neal is his good's really good, and he was healthy last year. So I think they're going to franchise him. This is not a team that has much money. They're not going to be able to do a whole lot. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a build through the draft. Like I said, I do think they're going to end up taking a quarterback at 4. I'm getting to a point where I can see the top 10 being all offensive players. Atlanta is one of those catalysts of, do they step out of line and take a Patrick Surtain or Micah Parsons, who seems to be falling?
Micah Parsons was he wouldn't be falling if they took him at 4.
Nobody's talking about them taking him at 4.
Oh, really?
That talk's gone away. By the way, a very wise lumberjack told you, watch these guys that opted out fall. Mm-hmm. Pick up a mock draft. Look at the guys that opted out. Look at where they started. Look where they are now. Mm-hmm. I got called a jerk and said I was insensitive to the virus. Nope, just telling you the truth.
No, it is true. Jamar Chase is still mocked in a lot of places, very, very high. But guys like Gregory Rousseau and Micah Parsons.
Gregory Rousseau's falling into the 20s.
Yeah.
I'm hearing the Jets could get Gregory Rousseau at 23. Oh.
And we just got to see Jeremy's O-face. Nice.
Vinegar strokes. No big deal. Mine are better than Jeff Goldblum's, so.
Oh, God.
Jeff Goldblum's looks like a horse.
At this point, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't think I want to know.
If you watch The League, you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
You should watch that. How have you never watched that show, by the way?
Oh, I have. I saw like the first 3 episodes or the first 3 seasons, and then after that it got stupider. Yeah. Yeah, it got way stupider after that.
You take that back, you bitch.
Sorry.
You shut your dirty whore mouth.
I enjoyed the early seasons when they actually talked about fantasy football. And then it became more about gags and what Rafi was shoving up his nose. Right.
It's the greatest show ever. And the fact
I enjoyed it for a good run. I mean, what? It lasted 5 seasons. I tapped out on 3.
It might have been more than that. God, that was a good show.
It was somewhere in that neighborhood.
God, that was a good show.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Dirty Randy. The toilet kitchen.
Where's my? I forgot. We definitely need the rabbit hole button here. I think the Atlanta Falcons are, they're in a process of rebuilding, but they're hampered by the past administration because nobody's taking Matt Ryan. Nobody's taking Julio Jones. You're stuck with these contracts. And, the big question is, we talked about this a couple of days ago, do you take the quarterback or do you wait to start the rookie clock next year? Because I don't think this is a team that's going to be all that competitive to begin with.
The question would be, how bad do you think you are? We did have a little bit of breaking news yesterday about the quarterback class next year, and that Tyler Shuck is going to Texas Tech. That's either going to go real good or real bad, and I can't tell you which one. I don't know. Went real well for Pat Mahomes. I don't know how well it's going to go for Tyler Shuck.
The Atlanta Falcons, $20 million over the cap. So there's
this is a year you either have to clear the books off, and that could ultimately lead to, this team could look nothing like it used to. Or you're going to be in that level that you and I argue about all the time, where they're 6-10, 7-9, 8-8, where they're just competitive, which to me is hell. That's NFL purgatory.
Right.
So I hope they get rid of some of these bad contracts because they have a lot. The Falcons have more bad contracts, I think, than any team in the NFL.
Really?
I mean, look at the cap number on these guys.
I mean, you got Grady Jarrett.
Grady Jarrett's a $21 million cap hit.
Jake Matthews at 20, Dante Fowler at 18.
Think about what he just said. Dante Fowler is an $18 million cap hit.
Deion Jones at 12, and then
Deion Jones is the only one that's
it drops off
good.
Precipitously.
Yeah, you're still paying James Carpenter 6'5", which is disgusting.
Dante Fowler, if they can find a way to get out from under that would help them out a lot.
But they really can't.
They can't? I mean, they could cut him. Save $15 million?
No, you're doing that thing again where you can't figure out which side's which. That's the dead money charge.
That's the dead money side. Okay, excuse me.
God damn it! Over the cap. Can
Me
you
and
make
Graphs
him?
don't
Can
work.
you make him a form because he does this about once a day,
My bad.
and he makes me second guess myself. So I have to go back and look at something that I already definitively know.
It's not clearly marked on the screen.
Oh,
for
you
me.
mean you mean the dead money? The heading
Yeah.
there doesn't explain it to you?
No, because it needs to be more in line. Shut up. Move on.
God, I'm gonna call over the cap and be like, can you change the little toggle box and put it on top? If you go to
Throws me off every
overthecap.com,
time.
you're gonna see what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
it throws me off every time. Okay, so they can't get out from under that. They don't really have any. I mean, what are the big saving options that they have?
There are none.
There are none. That's
none.
the problem.
No, the thing is, they could pick which one of these, which frog they're willing to eat, and get out from under it for next year. This team's not going to be better than 8-8 no matter what they do.
I don't think so.
I mean, they could get Joe Montana and Barry Sanders in their prime and still be 8-8.
The offense can still put up points. I think that's going to happen. I mean, they're going to have to find a running back. Because Arthur Smith, I mean, he used the running game a lot in Tennessee. He's going to have to figure out a way to do that in Atlanta. So they're going to need a running back because you're not getting Todd Gurley again.
Yeah, because Todd Gurley aged like cheese.
Right.
And not good cheese.
And Ito Smith is not your answer. And Brian Hill, I mean, he's actually kind of fine, but I'd want him to be my backup.
Brian Hill's not fine.
He's not fine?
The fantasy football player in you's coming out. Brian Hill's like a sparkler. Okay. It's real fun for about 2 plays a game, and then, oh.
Gotcha. Okay.
I look at Atlanta, that biggest needs to me for Atlanta are, obviously you need a quarterback. They've got to find a linebacker. Running back's a big need, and they need another corner. So, to me, ideal offseason for the Falcons would be getting Trey Lance at 4 with the intention of sitting behind Matt Ryan for at least a year. And then you get somebody like Nick Bolton or Joe Tryon or somebody of that level in the second round. And then maybe you spin the wheel of destiny with corners in the third round. There's something about Shaun Wade that strikes me as a Atlanta Falcons corner, and I can't figure out what it is. There's something about him that makes me think if he wound up in Atlanta in the third round, I would just love it. In spite of the fact his tape is like watching a car fire.
Shaun Wade?
Yeah. Oh, my God, his tape is hideous.
You really think that's a good idea to put him with A.J. Terrell?
For this year, no. For the long term, maybe.
Okay.
Depends on how good. Depends on how good the coaching is.
Right. I mean,
a good secondary coach can make Shaun Wade a starter in the NFL. A bad one, and he'll be out of the league in 3 years. That's the range of outcomes there.
All right. I mean, I think they need to do something to try to shore up the offensive line.
It's so hard. I don't disagree with you.
It's not a good line.
No, but it's an expensive line. And you've invested the first rounder with Caleb McGarry. You've invested the money with Jake Matthews. You got Alex Mack that's a free agent that you're probably not going to bring back. I could see him trying to chase a ring with somebody like Kansas City or one of these good teams. He could wind up as the replacement for Corey Linsley on the next team we're going to talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
I just struggle to see them investing draft capital in that this early. The bad thing about offensive linemen is that if you put a quarterback like Matt Ryan, who's on his way out, behind a rookie line, it can make them look worse than they are. Caleb McGarry is the perfect example of that. He's a young guy playing with a bunch of vets, and it makes him look worse than he is.
Right.
Because teams pick on him. And once the linemen are funny, once the zeal's off the rose, you're out of the league in no time. So I think they're going to invest in. I can see them taking a corner. They definitely need some linebackers because outside of Deion Jones, they just don't have much. And this is going to be an ugly year.
Should they be a trade back candidate?
Every team in the top 5 should be a trade back candidate outside of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I just don't think you're going to find I don't think you're going to find the willing trade partners this year. I think you have the same problem you had last year. You got teams in the top 5 that want to trade back. Who wants to trade up?
Nobody wants to pull the trigger.
I mean, for the love of God, I saw a guy who I respect pretty well the other day. So I had Penny Sewell outside of the top 10.
Yikes.
That's not going to happen.
No.
Just throwing that out there. It's not going to happen.
I'll be shocked if he falls out of the top 5.
I will too, actually.
I don't think there's actually a path for that. Because if he's there
There's
for
a path
Cincinnati,
for anything.
If he's there for Cincinnati, though, and Cincinnati keeps that pick, I don't think there's any other solution.
There are people that think they would take Rashawn Slater over him, but I'm not one of them.
Yikes. I don't know about that. Because I'm with you.
I like Rashawn Slater.
I believe he's the generational tackle that we've said that he is.
Don't undervalue the idea that Atlanta could take Penny Sewell too. I feel like people just gloss over that.